Welcome to Anxious While Black, a podcast that explores the intersection of wellness, being Black in America, LGBTQ plus experiences, and just the ghetto-ness of young adulthood. Hi, I'm Emperor.
And I'm Tevin, and thank you for joining us for our 6th episode. Today we have a very special guest. Say hello to Darren.
Hi.
Hey, Darren. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Feeling good.
I'm glad you're here today on our 6th episode.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, why not?
Excited.
So normally what we do when we have a guest, we do an icebreaker. Okay. So Tevin, tell us what the icebreaker for today is.
All right, so we just have one question today. So what is an unpopular opinion that everyone has?
Kind of wild, but cream cheese goes in tuna.
I am disgusted. You better talk to her before I do, because I'm hurt her feelings.
I'm gonna need you to explain. Ooh, that's unpopular. I've never even heard of that before. What?
So when I was younger, my piano teacher used to bring snacks and tuna. She used to make tuna with cream cheese, and honestly, ever since then, that's how I make my tuna. And most people think it's super weird, but just one random fact about me: I eat cream cheese and tuna.
You know what? I don't even know what to say about
eat
that.
Tuna, so I can't even.
I
say
know.
anything.
I don't like cream cheese. So,
and I'm not a fan of cream cheese like that, but it goes well. I promise you, it goes well.
You like cheesecake?
when the last time I had cheesecake? When I had that nasty experience in Martha's Bakery, it was disgusting. I almost threw up, remember? And I haven't had it since. That was 2 years ago.
I had a cheesecake cupcake last night, so.
I know. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I don't like eating it. I don't like cheese.
Well, you're missing out.
What's your unpopular opinion?
I like going to the dentist. It's one of my favorite places to go. Actually, I like going to all my doctor's appointments.
Yeah, you do. Like,
I'm a hypochondriac for real. So if I can go to the doctor and just make sure everything's okay, I'm gonna be happy at the end of the day.
So you don't mind the pain, you just love going to make sure. I'm just confused.
Listen, I'd rather them find pain and fix it than me wait and then I'm dead.
You know, you're right.
Yeah.
What you gonna do when you're dead? What you gonna say? Oh, hi, hello? No, you're dead already. Makes no sense. My unpopular opinion is, I'm sorry, but I know they always talk about black people like watermelon and fried chicken. I don't like watermelon or fried chicken. I don't like it. I don't eat it. It's nasty. I don't know what they're talking about watermelon. It just tastes, it's just gritty. I don't know. It just tastes nasty, and I don't like fried chicken.
I don't know. I saw some girl on.
Who doesn't like fried chicken?
Emperor does not like fried chicken. I don't like it. I like grilled chicken, sauteed chicken, but fried chicken is just not for me. And don't hate me, because y'all got mad at me last time with pizza, and it was very unforgiving. I don't like fried chicken or watermelon, and I'm not apologizing for it.
Pizza, fried chicken.
I just don't like it.
I saw some girl on TikTok. She squeezed lemon on her watermelon. I'm not normally a watermelon person either, but I think I want to try that.
You know what? You try. You let me know how it tastes, and if it tastes good, I will attempt to think about trying.
No, because if it's too good, you can't have any.
The disrespect. Y'all see this? It's man.
What's making everyone anxious this week?
That earthquake.
Is it your first one?
No, not at all. But my first in New York. I didn't think New York had earthquakes, but no. On a real note, I think just where life is in general, politics, things happening in the world. Not to get too serious, but those are the things that I think about.
Makes sense. What about you?
I got into a fight earlier this week, like a fist fight.
A fist fight?
Yeah. And it's really been making me anxious all week. And I can't just seem to move on. Well,
you look great. I don't see the marks on your face, on your hands. What happened?
It was with time. And it really beat me up, and I can't recover.
Oh my God.
That's wild.
I'm screaming right now.
Yeah.
You know what? Well,
I'm glad that you can have a good laugh at my expense, because it was traumatizing.
Well, it seems like you survived the fight with
Barely.
time.
I almost had to call the cops.
I have a question. What would they have done if you called the cops and said, hey, me and Tom fought?
Well, Time needs to get locked up.
And throw away the key?
Melt it.
Okay, we
Yeah.
melted it.
Throw it in some lava. I don't know, bring it to like wherever they make metals at. I forgot what it's called, but take it there and just melt the key.
All right, listen, Tom, you about to be locked out.
Yeah. Going to jail.
Oh my gosh. No, that really made me laugh for real. That caught me off guard.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was me neither. I'm like, what? I said fist fight. What's making me anxious this week is not as, I guess, complex as yours. But my boss, she went on vacation and she was like, yeah, you're going to take over, my position while I'm going. I goes, okay, that's great. I'm going to be chilling, coasting. I wake up, I have 300 emails. I'm like, what is going on in one day? Yeah, in one day, 300 emails. I was stressed out. I said, you know what? I'm going to tackle it. So I came into work, and then as soon as I walked out, I had my sunglasses on, I'm lipping because my foot is messed up, and 10 people needed me at the same time. I had 2 guests that were crying. One of my associate crying. She was crying.
Are you ready to get into the topic of the day?
Yes, I am.
All right, so read the definition.
All right, so Miriam, we spoke to her last time because you remember she was
Very
messing up.
stern conversation.
Yeah, we did have a conversation with her because sometimes she comes through, sometimes she doesn't. But Miriam hooked us up today with a definition.
Miriam.
Miriam Webster. You don't know, sis? Remember I had to call her?
I do.
Because she was acting up. I said, what? Come on now, you have a billion words and you don't have the words we have?
Nasty text message thread the two of you had.
It wasn't really nasty. It was more so like, it was just very straight to the point. Like, hey, Miriam, like you almost embarrassed me on my show and I'm not understanding what's going on. She goes, I'm busy. I goes, Miriam, listen, I understand you're busy, but like this is important. Like we're giving you a shout out. At least you can do is have some words that kind of go with what we're trying to talk about. She kind of fakely apologized. She gave me a thumbs up, so I don't know if that was, I don't know.
Oh, thumbs up. That's a little spicy. It can go either way.
But she gave me a definition today, so we'll see.
We'll see, Miriam.
Miriam Webster. All right. So, definition of perseverance. Continue effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition.
It's deep.
It is.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know what it is to persevere.
Yeah. Even some people don't know what it means. Some people don't know.
They don't.
They have never experienced persevering, or they just...
Or they're afraid to.
Yeah, that's probably a big one. They're afraid to.
That's
they're probably
true.
They're probably like so afraid of like change or inadvertently growth that they're not able to persevere through anything.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about getting to the finish line, but they don't want to go through the actual challenges of getting there.
So Emperor read about perseverance because today we're talking about persevering through unexpected life events or through hard times.
Story of my life.
So how does everyone navigate their unexpected events that may arise in their life?
That is a great question. I think where I'm at in my life at this point, it's sort of just, it's like you don't have a choice, when you grow up, having gone through certain circumstances, I think it just becomes a part of you, and with me, I think it's like, I've always just learned, you put one foot in front of the other and you got to hustle, you got to make it work, I've recently learned too, there's, this idea of that there's no one coming to save you. There's no one coming to save me. So whatever, circumstances that happen is tough. Mentally, it's tough. Emotionally, it's tough. But you got to keep going. You have to, I've got to provide. I've got to, keep a roof over my head. Or currently for me, I'm, unemployed. It's my second unemployment within the last 2 years. Didn't see it coming. And it's like I could cry about it, but what is that going to do? I got to keep on pushing.
That's right.
I think it's something that I'm still working on and learning. I fortunately haven't had to deal with like too many really bad things in my life.
That's the blessing right there.
But I think COVID probably
forgot about her.
Brought about.
How can you forget?
I think COVID brought about times where I had to learn how to navigate those unexpected events.
Right.
I was furloughed, came back, and then was laid off because my company filed for bankruptcy. So there was probably 6 or 7 months of unemployment. So I didn't know what I was going to do, or if I was going to have to like settle for a job afterwards. And then life happened and blessings came. But through those times, I think I really learned more about how to persevere and different tactics. Started going to therapy. So that's something that that's probably a really big thing that helps me to persevere. How about you?
Praying. I talked about it on the last 5 episodes. I'm gonna keep talking about it. Prayer has got me through some dark, tough times, especially when life throws you a curveball that you can't seem to hit. I shared before that, I was homeless at one point, and I was just like, why me? And I kept saying, why me? I don't understand. I did well in school, all this great stuff. And I'm like, why not me? Yeah. What makes me different, right? Stuff happens to everyone. So I was praying, and just like you said, like you could sit there and just complain and go, why me, and not do anything about it? Or you could put some action into it. You can always change your circumstances. Life is always going to throw something difficult or unexpected at you, right? Yeah. But it's what you do with it and how you react to things. So I just started like, listen, what do I want to do? And I started writing down a plan. Like, I want to get to point C. Right now, I'm at point -A. So I had to figure out how to get there. So I'll go one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Sometimes you might put one foot in front of the other and get stuck and go, okay, great. But got to keep on trucking, got to keep on moving. Yeah. So I just kept a very positive attitude and mindset. And God knows there's times I don't want to. But I feel like that's helped me through dark times, because once you sit there and you have this negative aspect, things just seem worse. Things feel heavy. You feel more tired. You become irritable. And next thing you know, you're mad at the world. And then guess what? You're not persevering anywhere. You're persevering in darkness and negativity, but you're not moving towards something that's beneficial for your life. So prayer and keeping a positive attitude will help me persevere.
I think that brings us into the next question. How do you fight giving up or feeling discouraged when you're going through those hard times?
Oh, that is also another tough one. Obviously, like, since COVID, right, the topic of mental health, has really become, popular. And it is, you have a lot of, mental, emotional baggage, demons, whatever you want to call it. I think having a good support system, however you might find that, really helps. For me, I have a lot of supportive friends, some new, some old, who know me, know me to my core, know when to give me my space, which I do think is important, because you do have to you go through a grieving process, I think, whenever these life circumstances happen. And I think it is important to process. And I'm someone who I carry a smile a lot of the times, but I'm still dealing with it. And so people who know you give you your space, but then they are there to lift you up, right, to give you the words of encouragement, to bring some positivity and remind you that, hey, listen, you can't sit in this dark space too long. You gotta, pick yourself up, and then that helps you to then, move forward. Or at least for me.
I mean, that's actually great advice. Like, having a support system is huge. We see people who are successful in in anything, whether it's like music, their business, and they always sit there and say, oh, my mom and my family was there, or my partner, or my husband, or my friends. They had people around them to keep pushing them, because there are days where you just feel like you can't. And you're like, oh, you're only one person. And, we go through the motions every single day. And just to have someone like, no, let me just remind you how great you are. Let me remind you that you will overcome this. Or let me remind you that this obstacle was put in front of you because God knows you can overcome it, right? And he's using me to let you know that it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be achievable. So having a support system is, I believe, is extremely vital to just getting through anything. Yeah. And I have a support system now. Thank God. Yes, you came through. You heard my prayers. But there was times where I did not. And I'm telling you, it was probably the roughest time of my life. And again, people go through ups and downs. And I shared again, I had some, homeless issues and financial issues, but there was no one there but me. And I wish I had one person who was like, you got this, or you can do it, or let me just at least listen to you. So it's very, very tough. So having a support system, I agree with you. It's like top 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's what I said top two. I don't know, I might put up number one, but
I mean,
top
outside
two.
of God, but yeah.
Yeah, right. That's why I said,
Yeah.
look, top two.
Top two.
What about you?
I think a support system is definitely something that I have and that I utilize. My therapist is definitely something. I look forward to those appointments every Friday.
You love, you love all appointments, doctors, everything, especially that
my
one.
therapist. A good place to just talk to a non-biased person about what you're going through in your life. You know, sometimes you may try to talk to your support system, and because they are someone who, or people who are on your side, they may necessarily just say like nice things to try to encourage you. But if you have a therapist that really challenges you, they're going to ask you the tougher questions.
Right.
And then you're not, I don't think you're going to feel away as much, because it's their job to kind of get to the bottom of things, versus if you're emotionally attached to someone in your support system, it's kind of just like, why are you coming at me that way?
Right.
So that having that third party is something that's essential in helping me to get through those times from giving up. Also prayer, working out, things like that.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, I could add something. I told you before, I didn't meditate, but Emperor meditated this week twice. Ooh, it helped. I have a lot of tension in my body, so meditating just allowed me to get more in touch with just breathing properly. Heck, my singing, y'all hear it soon, sounded a lot better. I said, oh, check you out. You can do all the extra stuff. But no, honestly, just meditating really helped. And just remembering what I want to do that stopped me from being discouraged. Like, I know what my goals are. And I said it time and time again. I see people who live in regret. Like, I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I could have done this. I should have done this. Or when they see someone on television or hear them on the radio doing something that I can hear, that should have been me, or he or she, they can't sing, or they're not talented. I'm like, sis, why are you so mad? Like, what's wrong with you? But because they was discouraged and they didn't persevere, and they might be right. They might be more talented than that person, but that person was persistent and consistent, and they are where they are, and you are now on the other end being miserable and unhappy. I've seen far too many people who has crossed paths with me, or who actually in my life, or actually our family, unfortunately, who live that way every single day. And that actually encourages me not to be like that, because I refuse to be an unhappy Black man. Being Black is already hard enough. Love it, but it comes with a lot. So yeah, that definitely encourages me. And also therapy is a great outlet. And just having
the best gift
is great. And I don't know why people don't use it enough. And also just having positive people and energy around me, and being aware when someone is not positive. And I feel like that's also a thing. You can ask for positivity, but when you ask for it, negative people will sit there and see like, oh, I could be a parasite and leech onto you and be a leech. And you have to know, like, absolutely not. Get away from me and just keep the straight and narrow, and keep the positive energy around you. So just being very aware, cognizant of that has just helped me to persevere and keep it pushing.
What are ways that your support system encourages you?
Great question.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. If it's just checking in via a text, I have a good friend, she'll text me just, doing a wellness check, making sure like, you're alive, you're up, you're moving. Those moments where it's like, hey, listen, come out with me. We're going to this event, or whatever it is. It's just, I think just checking in, consistently.
I have to agree. Like, I love my friends. Like, I love people who just radiate positivity in my life. So ever so often, I go through my list of friends. I don't have many of y'all, but I go, let me just send a message. How are you? What's going on? If I haven't heard your voice in a while, I'll call. And just being available is really, really important. Again, we don't have to sit there and meet up every 10 seconds, but if you can post on social media every 10 seconds, you can hit up your friend. So that's true. So I'm big on just like doing a temperature check. Yeah. How's your day going so far? What's new with you? How you feeling? Or knowing if your friend had a tough time, that you had the decency to reach out and see how they're doing, right? Like, that's very, very big. And just being selfless. Yeah. Is also a way that you can use. And that's pretty much what I do.
I was to add to that, like, just given my current current situation. I've had a lot of friends, within my industry offer their network, as far as like, trying to find jobs and connecting me. And I think that's another thing that I don't always think about, but has been a huge support for me in this, the last few months.
Another thing to add to that is just like, when people know what you want to do, again, I say it all the time. My goal is to make music and inspire. And when someone sits there and goes, hey, how's the music going? Whether they know what the stage I'm in or not, it's like, oh, they're checking in. So it kind of lights a fire underneath you to keep going. And people just caring about like your passions and dreams is really big, right? So that's the type of how my friends kind of keep me going. Like, asking me questions about what I want to do versus like, again, you can say, how's your day going? But like, no, I know you're working on this. Or I know that you guys are on episode 6. You're probably tired. How was that feeling? Or let me link up with you on your day off to kind of get you out of everything that you're working hard on. It's just kind of showing that you care. Yeah. So just being present and available is big. What about you, T?
Yeah, I think definitely like those how are you doing text, those are probably like the biggest things. Or even like some of my friends, they send me like little voice notes asking how I'm doing. For some reason, I'm like, oh, you really took the time out to just like send something nice. And just sometimes just hearing their voice is something that's very encouraging. And just it's just like, oh, okay, like I have someone who really genuinely cares about me, and they know sometimes just like hearing their voice is just gonna like turn my day around and just make everything better.
That's true. Or look, our friends showing up for our podcast. Like a lot of our guests, all of our guests actually have been like friends, including you, who, we didn't even have to even ask some of y'all. It was like, oh, we have a podcast. I want to be on that. I was like, that's so dope. Like you guys believe in, what we're trying to achieve, which is, spread mental health and just, show different facets of the LGBTQ plus community and just kind of show a different side of what the stigma is out there of us as a people. So just to have friends to jump in and, we have friends that travel states to come see us and, move their schedules around just to be a part of something that they believe in. Like stuff like that makes a big difference. Yeah. On top of the voice notes too.
Or even just having the friends who like, I know you've been through a lot. Like just come on, we got to go out and just get out the house and do something. Even if it doesn't have to be like anything extravagant. We can just go get coffee or just, I don't know, for a walk. It doesn't have to cost anything.
It's getting warm. So, or a drink, because let me tell you something. I'm about to be drinking on the beach every other weekend in the summertime. So come find me on Saturdays, y'all.
Beachside, poolside,
beachside, or the water.
So we all talked about like having the strength to persevere through things. What do you feel like those are things that you learned like in your upbringing, or are those things that you learned as an adult?
For me, I would say definitely my upbringing. I kind of, in preparing for this podcast, I was, kind of like...
preparation.
Like how deep do I get? How open, do I get? A lot of people who know me, know, again, sort of like my life. There's a lot of people who don't know the details of my personal life. But I would say, one, I do come from a very strong, Jamaican, traditional Jamaican upbringing. And so within that, anyone out there who's from the islands, specifically Jamaica, there's something that's instilled with you, but something that a lot of people do not know about me is that I was raised by my father and my stepmother. My biological mother actually passed away when I was very young. And so that was one of the biggest, I guess, life events, that I experienced when I was young. And I don't think I really knew how to navigate it. Therapy was not an option. My parents didn't know about that. It's not something that's really talked about, within our community. And so it was just sort of something that you had to like learn to do. I think, thankfully for being brought up in the church, my beliefs have definitely changed, as I've gotten older, but being young at that time, I think having that community and having that spirituality, I think carried me through music. That led me to music, and those things just kind of like, guided me. But that event happening so young in my life, I think allowed me to see, right, life isn't all roses and it's not perfect. And there were some very dark days, a lot of tears shed at night, you know, in solitude. But I think that event, you know, allowed me to push through, you know, other major events in my life that happened. And so, yeah, I kind of forget the question, but I think I'm on track.
You are.
That for me is what sort of, you know, from learning that from a young age and learning how to get pushed past that, you know, emotionally, mentally, you know, led me to where I'm at today. And so, yeah.
You're in a great space. You look great. Hair is herring. I can't see it, but he has a big, giant butt in the back, y'all. It is all his. No tracks, y'all. No tracks.
No, it's real.
Because he's going to have his own music and put that into the air.
Amen.
That's right. I can answer next. I feel like it's a mixture of both. I feel like at a young age, my mom always was like, you know, your name is Emperor. Like, you was given that by your father for a reason. Like, you're going to have difficulties because you're a black man named Emperor, right? So she already let me know I'm going to deal with a lot of pushback. You know, I was doing very well in school. She goes, they're going to hate. Like, and she said it very harshly and brutally, but it was very honest. And I appreciate that. So when I did deal with tough times, or because people like to gang up, like that one-on-one stuff don't work. They want to break you down. It's going to be 4-on-1. Mouth used to be nasty. Ooh, you're lucky I'm saved. But yes, she taught me that at a very young age. As I got older and I dealt with the difficulties of, you know, my circumstances and my finances and where I lived at, a lot of that stuff I felt didn't help me in those times. So there's things that I had to learn, and there were some people, whether they were good or not, you learn from anyone. And one thing that someone told me was that there are times where you only have yourself. And that was a hard thing for me to swallow. And I was like, what you mean? Like family? He was like, yeah, sometimes family ain't available. Yeah. He said, clearly not, because you was in the street. And I was like, ooh, that was kind of tough, but it was something I needed to hear. So I just had to thicken my skin and get more tough. And there were times where I went to the opposite ends of that, and I was just like, yeah, I don't need anybody. So I thought I could do everything on my own. I saw myself moving up, and I started working. I started moving up in my career, and I saw that I got very stagnant and stuck. And I was like, wait, what's going on? I don't understand this. And I was like, you know what? It's good that you know that you could do things on your own because you're independent, but you also have to be aware that there's 8 billion people on this earth, and we're all here for a reason, and the earth did not continue to excel and grow without the help of others. So I had to then retrain myself to, okay, yes, you can have more than one thing. Yes, you can be independent, but don't be afraid to ask for help. Yeah. And I learned that when I moved in my career. Like, I became a manager, and I was trying to do everything myself, and it was a detriment to me at one point because you cannot do everything yourself. It is highly impossible. You have to use the talent around you to keep excelling. Not abuse it, because people abuse their power. Yeah. But it's a combination of both. I got some things from when I was a child, going through a tough teenager year, and then when I was a young adult, just had to like kind of assess the situation and kind of get some new skill sets.
I appreciate that, you know, like the idea, because it's something I struggle with. Asking for help. That is.
But they both struggle with asking for help. That's why I'm in the middle.
You know, I'm glad that I can recognize that now. But I'm so grateful for. I mean, over my lifespan so far, right? I've had so many people come and go, and it is a blessing, you know, that God, the universe, sent people to me, knowing what I would be going through. You know, there was a support there, you know, and it's a great reminder, right? Definitely would not be here. I hustle, but at the same time, there are people who help get me.
The people who hustle with you or hustle for you, right? Yeah. And it's because they see you working hard, and they see that you're trying, and as intelligent as you are, we don't know everything, right? Like, or we don't have every single connection in the world. So like, you know what? I see him put in the grind. Maybe my 2 cents can add to 98 cents and make it $1. And then you can keep, I don't know why I said that, but it makes sense. And just keep it pushing. But yeah, I feel like having that support system and having those right people around you can help towards you moving and persevering. What about you, Tevin?
I think it's probably was a both combination of my upbringing, also adulthood. A lot of like what I know or the tools I use to persevere through things are like tools that I've built upon from things that I've learned as a kid. So like Darren and I grew up in a spiritual household as well. So I pray. It's probably like the first thing I do. And I just I know that God's gonna come at some point in time. I don't know when, so I just have to be patient.
Right.
But also just like listen and just like self-reflecting. Those are tools that really just help me to just keep it moving.
No, I like you said self-reflecting. I feel like people self-reflect, but they don't do anything with it. And I can use my own example. Like you go, oh, I could have been better at this, or I could have been more patient. And at a very young adult, when I was a young adult, I would sit there and I'm like, yeah, I could do better the next day. But what I wasn't doing was taking the next steps to become better. I would think it would just happen because, I'm the smart guy, so it should just happen for me, right? And I just noticed that it wasn't. So just taking those next steps is, again, I guess you learn it with age and experience, but just self-reflect and wisdom. Look, wisdom. That's why I said the wise, right? But self-reflection is real. Like, and you can self-reflect like, oh, I had a great day. I did good. I was being a good person. But we all have our mishaps and our hiccups. And it's like, okay, so what could I have done differently? Or what should I have done? Or, I was struggling today. If I would have reached out to my friend and asked for help, I would have been okay. And again, I get it. I was someone who never asked for help. But I noticed that it became the detriment of me because I was like, I'm the smart guy. I did this. I was on an honor roll, blah, blah, blah. Things should just happen for me. And I saw that it wasn't. And I thought it was going to happen one day. And I saw time was going by and things were not changing. I go, oop, let's switch this up. So it honestly started with work when I was like, hey, I need you to do this. And they was like, okay, cool. And I was like, oh, is that easy? Okay. Then let me just ask someone else. But I also make it very clear that if you ask me for something, I'm going to go just as hard as you did doing it for me, right? Like, I'm always going to reciprocate that. So just knowing that you had that is really good. And I get it. Asking for help can kind of be like, it doesn't mean you're weak. There's not a single leader in the world who's not being helped out. Every CEO, they up the top right now. They probably on vacation hanging out while everyone else underneath them is running stuff, right?
Whole team behind
they have
them.
a whole team.
Shout out to the exec assistants.
The EAs, y'all, the EAs. Even some of these great, magnificent, we love music, like singers, right? Like, they might be super talented, but they have a team behind them to go, oh, won't you try this? Won't you do this? You're struggling with this note. Let me help you here. Or let me get this producer for you, right? Like, that means you're smart and aware of using resources around you to grow. And I feel like we as a people have to get out of that because we never want to ask each other for help. They go, oh, it shows that you're weak. No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
It's unlearning those ideals or ideology that it makes you weak. It's, the community or it's embedded, a village.
It's embedded in our community, yeah.
But it is. It's unfortunately, but there's an unlearning that has to be done, I think,
And some people struggle with the unlearning. It's like shaking someone's foundation, you said before in the past podcast, it freaks people out. Like, what you mean everything I've been doing has been not right? It hasn't.
Yeah.
That's why you are where you are right now. And guess what? You're still allowed to sit there and change that. Some people don't want to unlearn things. They refuse to. It could be thrown in their face like the sky is blue. I think it's yellow. We've proven to you that the sky is blue. Well, that's not what I was told. My grandmother said, well, your grandmother was wrong.
Yeah.
And your mama was wrong. And now you're wrong. But they just can't grasp the fact of saying no. Because then they start feeling like, oh, what's my identity? They start questioning everything, right? And
they don't have the tools. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually a good thing sometimes because don't you want to keep learning and growing? We don't know everything. So the unlearning part I feel like it's something that our community really struggles with every single day. But we're here to teach y'all. So
what is one event everyone felt like threw them off the most?
Y'all already know my answer, but I'm gonna let you go, Darren.
And what did you learn from it?
One event that threw me off the most, I mean, again, just kind of where I'm at recently, was not expecting, COVID came, dealt with that, got my life back on track, was not expecting this most recent layoff to happen, and so that I think really shook my foundation. I don't know if it's necessarily that there are things that I'm learning, but one of the things that I'm reminded of is that I am resilient. And as a people, Black people are resilient.
Very much so.
You know, just given the history and the traumas and all the things that we go through, we're able to push past and reach, next levels. And, the world could be crumbling, but tomorrow's a new day. The sun is going to shine again eventually. And that resilience that we have, to get us to that next step is, it's nice.
Oh gosh. I was gonna say me being homeless. I mean, that's kind of a given. It really shook my foundation. But as I got older, I got past it. Something else kind of popped in. It was my father passing away when I was only 1.5 years old. I feel like I started missing him, and I was like, I started seeing people who had both parents around, or, I know unfortunately your mom passed away, but, had a stepmother. Like there was some people, you had 2 people in your home, and I see what a 2-family household or 2-parent household what it can really do. And I always said, I do not want to be a single parent. I'm like, absolutely not. Like looking back at it, yes, they work hard, but you're spread so thin. Just not having my father there, I feel like shook my foundation from the very, very beginning. I only heard stories about like, although he lived a very interesting life, he did everything for you. Like everything was just for you. And just knowing that there was someone out there who loved me that much, even though it was for a short time, I go, wow, there's someone who put me first. And in my life, I struggled with that. I was never put first in anything, no matter how well I did in school. I broke records. They always put me as the co-this or the co-captain as this. I had a friend who said I'm his Batman to his Superman, or I'm his Robin to his Batman. The stories that I heard even from my mom was like, you was the most important thing in his life. And I'm like, I didn't experience that until my age now, where I was put first in someone's life. So I think that, cause I was always chasing it. Like I've tried to, even though the friend was toxic, I'm like, hey, I want to be your friend. I always try to show and prove my worth to people every single time, whether it's at work, whether it was with friends, whether it was past relationships. And they always made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And I was like, that's unfortunate. But I feel like if my father was still alive, he would have let me know, like, nah, like, I got you. Like, I would have already had that kind of built inside of me. So I feel like it would have helped me navigate really differently. I didn't really get into that probably until like the past like few months, understanding that. But that's my thing.
I think mine is COVID.
You definitely was a different person after that.
I had really bad COVID anxiety. I didn't want to leave the house. I felt like everyone was dirty and sick. I might not be far off from that, but I felt like everyone was dirty. Everyone was dirty and sick.
Yo, he has been screaming this whole
and just living my best life in the house. And I had to slowly ease my way back out of there. At that point in time, I was still riding the train most of the time. But my first haircut during COVID probably was the thing that really got me out the house and got me on the train. Because I think I got on the train before you, right?
No.
Oh, well, anyway.
I burst that bubble.
I felt like I got on the train before you. And yeah, that was probably the biggest thing, kind of like shook my foundation, lost my job, made me rethink everything. Still not touching a buffet to this day, but...
Me neither. I'm sorry. I just feel like, I feel like you mentioned that COVID was true. Like, it actually made me get out of, like, again, I was in retail, went through the ladder, climbed it up, and I was like, I don't want to do this no more. Again, no disrespect to anyone who's in retail, but I didn't want to do it. And COVID I know it's weird. I was like, God, I hope something happens to where I don't like stuff. I did not make COVID. See, no, he looked at me.
It's all your fault.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's blame
Not you
me.
praying for COVID.
I prayed for
calling the
a
CDC on
drastic.
you.
You know, I'm getting arrested.
It wasn't China. It was you.
It wasn't China. It was me.
Yeah.
Okay, Donald.
Emperor
Talk about
caused
China. No, but I wanted something drastic. I was like, I need something to happen, and I was like, I didn't ask for this, but COVID was such a big thing in everyone's lives, but it forced us to sit down and think. I was like, what do you want to do? And you got to figure out how to do that. I started my hair care business. I put more energy into music.
There's that idea that our destiny, like we're destined to become something or to end up somewhere. And so, all of these events that sort of happen in life, they're, I guess another way to look at it is that they worked towards the good, right? It might be tragic, but there's a benefit to it because it's leading you to where you're eventually supposed to be.
I agree with you on the fact that though COVID was so bad, there were a lot of good things that also came out of it. I doubled my salary during COVID.
Check you out. Come on, double.
Right?
When you double, what happens to gum? Come on, double.
And other similar things to that have happened. Like I grew my entrepreneurial mindset, tried some businesses. They may not have worked out, but look, we're here now on a podcast.
Episode 6, baby.
And things like that have grown since COVID. So
That's true.
yeah, we're doing big things.
Big things and more to come.
You know what that sound means?
Yes, I do.
It's time for Emperor's Rant.
That's right. As y'all already know, I'm going to say it every single episode, I love to rant because I have so much to say. What you tell me like that for?
How I look at you.
Like I was crazy?
You might be.
A little bit. I am a Gemini, so a little bit.
Oh, so you're not a little bit.
You know what? Let's get into this rant.
Coming for you.
All right, so.
You trust your timer?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I was just waiting to hear what you're going to talk about. I'm going to bring the trusty timer out.
Yes. You see how cute it is? Like a little mushroom.
It
Look at
looks
that.
like
And have your 2 minutes. And your 2 minutes start now.
All right, y'all, listen. So I'm going to rant about something that we are all dealing with today. I'm ranting about how expensive everything is. Groceries, rent, I just cannot deal with it. It is absolutely ridiculous. Remember back in the day, we can go to Trader Joe's and come out with a bunch of bags of only $100. Now it's like you get 2 bags for $100. Whole Foods is the price of Gucci. I don't know what is going on. I'm like, what is this? I go get a bottle of water. It's like $15.50. It goes for a bottle of tap water. Absolutely not. And then rent, please. Let's not get into that. I don't understand how for 237.5 square feet, rent is $5,000. How am I supposed to survive with this type of stuff? It is absolutely crazy, especially in New York City. And again, nothing is getting better. The train system is going up every day. It's going to be, $3 soon. And guess what? Homelessness is still crazy. People are still stabbing people on the train, and the train don't show up on the time. Y'all sat there and spent all that money for things that the train will be here in 10 minutes. Then 10 minutes comes by, and it cycles again, 10 more minutes. Like, where's my money going? It makes
And the
no
apps don't
sense.
work.
The apps don't work. Nothing works. I don't get it. Like, everything is becoming more expensive, and the quality is dropping. I should have to hear my neighbor talking about how he's mad at his partner through the walls, and I'm spending $4,000 a month. That don't make any type of sense. It makes no sense. And I get into clothing, like all the cheap clothes we used to get for $15, $20, $35, and now $150 for something that only lasts one time. Fast fashion, though, should be called ripped off fashion. It makes no sense. I only can wear things one time. I put it in the dryer and it disappears. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm thinking the most expensive thing on my thing will be rent, and it's actually food. I'm like, yo, where is my money going to? I understand why people have roommates in New York City because we can't afford nothing. I can't even afford to breathe half of the time. You see how I'm sucking in my stomach? I can't even afford to breathe half of the time because it costs too much money. I need the world to figure this out. How do things keep going up, but we like $3 trillion in debt? Where's this money at?
Time
Too
up.
expensive.
Well, I hope things go down.
It ain't
so.
going. You know it ain't going down. What's going down?
Listen, I can hope. You don't have to be such a pessimist.
You know what? He stopped playing me this whole entire episode. Yeah, he called me a pessimistic person, and you in tears right now. What's going on?
So we're gonna have a little "Am I the a-hole" moment.
This is my segment.
All right. So, am I the a-hole for being mad at my sister for falsely taking me on an early birthday trip so she can get a nose job?
Oh,
My birthday is in a week, and I'm currently on vacation in Turkey. My sister booked the flights telling me that it was an early birthday present. Turns out she came to get a nose job and urged me to come because she had no one else to look after her while she recovers. I've done my hair, makeup, expecting us to go somewhere after her making promises that we would go on all these different places, except now I'm stuck in bed in a hotel room, looking out the window at the sun. Quite a depressing image. Am I the a-hole for being annoyed as I am? I haven't voiced it. I haven't voiced any of it or made it apparent, as she's obviously in pain and can't help how bad her recovery is. She thought she would have been okay enough to go out, but she's not.
she lied.
Right.
Now, it'd be one
I'd be
thing.
pissed.
It'd be one thing if she sat there. She was like, "All right, I'm gonna get my nose job. A 2-for-1. Look, 2 birds, 1 stone. Get my nose done." But I planned this whole itinerary thing for you for your birthday. We'll go out to the club. Let's just say her nose. I'm in pain. Okay,
She should be
great.
giving me a nose job for my birthday.
I mean, she got a injunctive type of job, something, or she came with some new shoes or something. It makes no sense. She played her. That's why she's in pain right now.
Right.
And you need to say something to your sister. Y'all close. Sis, it's my birthday. It's not about you. What's her sign? She's probably, I can't even say it because they're going to get mad at me if I say what sign I think she is.
Well, maybe they should, sis, maybe you need to like hide her, what are those, the nasal spray?
That's mean. No, that's not nice.
She needs to learn her lesson.
She in pain right now. She learned her lesson.
That's pain of pleasure.
Wow. What you think?
I mean, I'd be pissed if someone lied to me and,
Your birthday.
no.
Can you imagine? Darren, I'm taking you out for your birthday. We're going to go to Paris. All right, we're going to Paris. I'm like, oh, well, actually,
secret, right.
I came up here to, to
bait
get some
and switch.
extensions. Yeah. What?
No, that person's not the a-hole. I think they have every right to be upset. Now, I will say this. I would then just take advantage of the trip. If I'm already there, I'm already there,
I'm taking her credit card. She ain't paying. She ain't gonna see me. Thanks, sis. I thought it was for me. I thought it said happy birthday to me on the credit card. I'm swiping it, hanging out with some Turkish people. We're gonna have a good old time. I'm gonna be in a hotel watching the sun in the room on my birthday.
I
Make
will
some
say,
lemonade.
for context, reading further down the thread, she said she couldn't go out because her sister is holding the credit card and all the funds. So
no,
she's
then-
stuck in the hotel room.
No, so then she has every right to be
We're not talking anymore. She'll be very mad. She'll be very mad at me.
That shouldn't even be a question. No.
I guess because that's my sister. Nah, she's trifling. That's trifling.
Yeah.
See, family do you worse than
My
friends.
sister would never do anything like that.
She wouldn't. She
Hey,
wouldn't.
Raquel.
Raquel, what's up? That's terrible.
At least tell me you're going to get a nose job while we're there.
You could have sat there and said, "Listen, I want to go to Turkey, right? It's your birthday. I also want you to come. I am getting a nose job, but at the same time, I also want to celebrate you." So it's kind of like it's still a little selfish, but like I still want to. But I'm paying for everything. I'm gonna hook you up. It's your birthday, and we're gonna have fun. And then just say her nose was hurting. I can't do pain. Listen, I'm in excruciating pain. Take my credit card. I got some stuff planned to go have a good time. Why she couldn't do that?
She's holding her hostage. That's
She's holding her hostage.
Yeah.
What did she did? Now let me.
Well,
No
Diddy has
comment.
tunnels under his house, so
I mean, yeah.
she could escape Diddy's if it was Diddy's house.
If she wouldn't know about the tunnels,
Well,
it's her own sister keeping her hostage. She's just smacking on her nose, like, boop, now hold me hostage now.
I thought you said it wasn't nice to hide nasal spray.
I
Nice
changed
slapping
my
nose.
mind.
But I do have a request. Sis, can you tell me what surgery you went to for your nose? Do you do hair implants? Because I heard about the Turkish hair implants. Just leave it in the comments. That's all the time we have for today.
Time always runs out so fast when I'm having a good time.
Visit Anxious While Black for access to important resources and to learn more about the show. Follow at AWB Pod on all social platforms and listen to all our episodes on all platforms, or you can watch on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify. And if you have any questions, comments, or whatsoever, email us at hey, that's HEY, at anxiouswhileblack.com. See you next time.
Bye. Have a good one.